Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 16 to 20 of chapter 3. Evam pravartitam chakram.
Evam pravartitam chakram.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Karyam karma samachara.
Karyam karma samachara.
Asakto hyacharan karma.
Asakto hyacharan karma.
Paramapnoti purushah.
फलमाप्नोति पूरुषः
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
आस्थिता जनकादयः
आस्थिता जनकादयः
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. We have been seeing the deeper messages of verse number 17 of chapter 3. Now, what is very interesting about this verse is that he has built this verse around the three words, Ratihi, Triptaha and Santushtaha. All three essentially mean delight, satisfaction, happiness. They are so similar. Now, the most interesting thing here is, out of all the motives which a human being has, he has taken up those words which are related to happiness, and he is describing the person who has merged with the infinite, the yogi, in terms of his inner happiness. This is so significant. What I mean by out of all the pursuits is, like, some people want money, some people want name, some people want fame. Out of like this, there are hundreds and hundreds of things which you are pursuing in the world. Out of all that, why is he picking up those words which have a direct correlation to happiness? That itself should make you think. The reason why he is doing that is because you may be engaged in hundreds of pursuits, but actually there is only one thing which you are pursuing, and that is happiness. Every other thing which you are pursuing is a method through which you are trying to actually find happiness only. A person wants wealth. Why does he want wealth? I'm not talking of the practical reasons. Sir, I want wealth for taking care of my expenses. No, that is all okay. But I'm saying the deep, deep desire for wealth. From where is it coming? You should ask yourself, am I wanting per se wealth, or am I wanting something else through wealth? The moment you start asking this question, now your inner sadhana will begin. The reflection will start happening. Reflection about life. So you are not actually seeking wealth. When you're saying I want wealth, it is not merely wealth. Deep, deep within you, you feel wealth will give you happiness. Therefore, you are pursuing wealth. Supposing you say, I don't want wealth, sir, I only want name and fame. Why is it that you're wanting name and fame? Supposing somebody were to tell you that name and fame, let us say it has been designed in that way, where name and fame will give you maximum unhappiness. If you know that, will you still want it? No. You sincerely believe that if I get name and fame in whatever small way, I will become happy. Therefore, you are pursuing it. Another person says, I want to grow in my career. Are you wanting the growth in your career, or are you wanting something else through that growth? It will come back to happiness only. So another person says, I want to get into relationships. Why? Are you wanting relationships, or are you wanting something else through that? If the proof is, if the same relationship is causing a lot of stress, now you're not okay with that. So your idea of getting into a relationship is to become happy. You're thinking our happiness is there. I'm not even getting into whether that is right or wrong. I'm only saying this is the psychology of all your pursuits. So there are hundreds and hundreds of things which you are seeking today, which you are pursuing. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you're pursuing, there is one common pursuit, and that is of happiness. So he is directly relating those words. He is using those words which are related to happiness. That is why we say this wisdom is universal. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you're doing. One person may be, let's say, in business, another person may be in fashion industry, a third person may be working in the IT industry, a fourth person may be a sports person. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you're doing in life, the question is, why are you doing it? Why are you motivated, or why do you have that urge to do it? It will boil down to happiness only. And it's not only happiness. I gave you 3 factors. That is, the same factor has been expanded into 3 to make it easy for you to understand. So, number 1, happiness. Number 2, freedom, my independence. And number 3, freedom. Now, many of you may be confused here. You may get confused exactly what is the difference between independence and freedom. See, all these 3 qualities are interlinked only: happiness, independence, and freedom. Actually, all 3 mean the same. One cannot exist without the other. But the emphasis is different. When we talk of happiness, we are directly dealing with that state where you are completely content and you are blissful. When we are talking of independence, we are talking about your relationship with the world. When you are contacting the world, or even if you don't contact, your mental relationship with the world. Am I dependent for my happiness? That is, am I dependent on the world for my happiness, or am I independent? So in the first quality we say happiness is within. When it comes to independence, it is with respect to the world. That is how dependent am I. This is how you need to understand it. And then comes the third aspect, which is freedom. It is so similar to independence. Even one word is enough. If I just say happiness, all three are included. If I just say freedom, the other two are included. But I am expanding it into three facets so that it becomes easy for you to understand. So what is freedom? Freedom is that state which is independent of the world. Again, I am using the word independence. So that is where you will get confused. That is, freedom is a state which has no reference to the world. Let us put it that way. It is liberation. When we talk of independence, it is still related to the world only. In the world, you can either be dependent or independent. But when we talk of freedom, we are talking about a complete liberation from everything which is finite. So you don't need to get into so much of technical analysis where exactly what is the difference. As I told you, they are all representing one quality only. The emphasis is different. So when you don't have that quality, instead of happiness, it will be unhappiness. Instead of independence, it will be dependence. Instead of freedom, it will be bondage. So we can even see it this way. Happiness gives you independence. Independence gives you freedom. Similarly, unhappiness gives you dependence. Dependence creates bondage. That sequence will help you to understand it more easily. So, for those who are totally confused with this, exactly what is the difference and all that, this is the points which I gave you just now will help you to get a hang of it. So, whenever you're unhappy and you contact the world, you will become dependent. Whatever be the object, whether it's object or person or whatever it is. And then that will lead to bondage. That sequence is easy to understand. Now, the opposite of that. Whenever you are in a state of happiness, you will be independent. And that independence will lead to a state of freedom. Freedom means you are left alone. You are no longer bothered by your own mind. See, the interesting part here is, one is to say you're free from the world. That is also correct only. But actually, the world is not causing any bondage. It is your mind which causes the bondage. Therefore, the freedom is actually from your own mind, the clutches of your mind. So, the more you understand this, you will start absorbing that energy of these three facets. They will start manifesting within you. You can use these three facets to determine the quality of your life today. Am I living my life in a qualitative, with the utmost quality? How are you to decide? Find out using these three factors. Okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I have a family, I have this, that. Ultimately, what is my happiness level? What is my independence level? What is my freedom level? And immediately your mind will say, I am not happy because of that person. I am not independent because of that person. I am not free because of that person. Either person or circumstances, whatever it is. That is why the word manavaha gets you back, gets your focus back. It gets you back on track. Don't keep complaining about the world. The world is as it is. It is you who is contacting the world, and you have full control over yourself. And when I say you, the main aspect of you from a relative level is your mind. The mind is so powerful. And that is why a yogi who conquers his mind becomes very powerful. Even temporarily, relatively, when you want to achieve something in the world, you need to gain a temporary control over the mind. You need to say no to so many other factors so that you can achieve that limited goal. So just imagine, if a temporary control over the mind can give you that limited success, the permanent control over your mind, what can it give you? It can give you total happiness, complete independence and freedom. The trick here is to relate yourself that is, relate yourself to these three qualities, or relate these three qualities to yourself. That is the most difficult thing. When you are caught up with a problem, it becomes almost impossible for you to conceive or visualize that life without that problem. Just as a person who has always been in darkness doesn't know what light is. If you ask him to conceive light, he will not be able to conceive light. If you ask him to visualize light, he will not be able to visualize light, because he has never seen light. So these three facets, happiness, independence and freedom, are something which are not a part of this finite world. So you have not experienced them. Even the so-called happiness is nothing but a state of no agitations that I explained to you, when I was explaining Ratihi. The Upanishad, they use the word Nakam. Nakam means it's a state of heaven. It's a state of no sorrow, no joy. They have put it as a, the construction, in that construction they put it in a double negation form. It's so profound. So you will have to do your daily sadhana, which is your tapas. Attend these Sunday sessions. Keep hearing these truths again and again. This is being explained to you from different angles. Every verse is actually essentially saying one and the same thing, but in a different way. So when you keep on exposing yourself to these truths, and then when you do your daily sadhana, that is when these three facets will start manifesting in your life within you. When I say manifesting in life, it will not manifest first externally, it will manifest within you, and then you will create happiness outside. The world is nothing but a projection of your own mind only. Whatever you have here within, that is what you're projecting and creating externally. If you are having a fault finding nature, you will always find people with faults. If you have a very positive attitude, you will find the same people having a lot of positive attitude. Even if they have something negative, your energy will convert it. If you have true spirituality within, if you're merged with that infinite self, that God, then you see God everywhere. The world is a reflection of your inner state. So whatever is being told here, these are all tools to achieve that self-purification and self-mastery. So when I was explaining the deeper meaning of Ratihi, I had mentioned Ratihi means rest, it also means pleasure or delight. So today you are using various objects, you're trying in various ways to pacify your mind. Now what these great masters are saying is that there is a way by which you can pacify your mind without anything externally. Actually, that is the only true way. Once you start focusing on the self within, thereafter your mind will become totally pacified, totally calm. Atma Ratihi is turning inward, turning towards the self. And once you start practicing that, once you get established in that, Atma Ratihi will become Triptihi. Tripti means complete satisfaction. That's what is the second thing, and is satisfied by the self. If you take an ant, For example, an ant is so restless. It's going here, going there, constantly running around. And if you try to forcefully stop the ant will get frustrated. If you go and lecture to the ant, supposing, oh ant, please stay quiet for a moment, it will not work. The ant is so restless. So what is the way to quieten the ant? You just take a little bit of sugar and put it on your table. Now the ant which is running helter-skelter will find its way to that sugar, and once it starts tasting that sugar, it will quieten down. So similarly, your mind is like that ant. It is running everywhere. When you are awake, it is running everywhere. Even when you go to sleep, it is running everywhere in the dreams. Even the state of sushupti, that is deep sleep, people experience it in a very less way only. So much of restlessness, so much of agitations. And when you try to forcefully quieten the mind, it will not work. That is why we say sadhana should not be done in a very harsh way. Somehow or other, I will control my mind. The mind will run more. If you say like that. So instead of fighting with the ant, you just put some sugar. So instead of fighting with the mind, do the sadhana and expose your inner self, Atman, the higher self from within. And the moment the mind turns inward and the mind starts tasting the sweetness, the bliss of that infinite self within, thereafter, instantly, all the restlessness will vanish. The more you fight with the mind, the more restless it will become. If you stop fighting and just find the source of happiness within, now the mind will settle down. From Atma Ratihi, you will move into Triptaha. Atma Triptaha. Satisfied by the self. Atma Triptaha. It's a very powerful state. When we say Atma Ratihi, the person is in contact with the world. What is that person's inner state? Now, Atma Triptaha, when the person is all alone, when he is not contacting the world, what is his state? Total satisfaction. So the word Triptaha is an adjective. The Shakti behind that is Tripti. We'll come to that. But both those words are derived from the Sanskritam root, Trip. Trip means satisfied. total satisfaction. See, you may do so many things in life, but ultimately, are you getting that real satisfaction? That is a question, no? Today, whatever it is that you do, you seem to be dissatisfied. You, you get a partner, you're dissatisfied with a partner. You go and work in an office, you're dissatisfied with your work, with your boss. You're dissatisfied with your employees. You're dissatisfied with your children. It is that dissatisfaction which gives rise to complaint. You're dissatisfied with your husband, you're dissatisfied with your wife, with your friends, with everyone. You're dissatisfied with life itself. And dissatisfaction will lead to complaints and agitations. So you will have to find that satisfaction, and where is it? It is right within you. Actually, Triptihi, which is a Shakti behind the word Triptaha, Tripti Shakti is present within you. That is the energy of satisfaction. So, Ratihi means delight. Atmaratihi, turning that tendency for pleasure inward, turning it towards the self, which means spiritualizing everything which you're doing, or spiritualizing all the pleasures or all the experiences. We can even project it and take it to all the experiences. Spiritualizing all the experiences of life. That is Atmaratihi. So if you go to the Upanishads, in the Chandogya Upanishad, even the act, the sexual union between a male and a female, now that has been spiritualized. They call it as a yajna because there is an offering, there is a fire, the fire of passion is brought out. So they describe it. They don't see anything as wrong. It is only a question of whether you're completely caught up in the pleasure or whether you're doing it in a sadhana way. You're spiritualizing it. So every experience, whether you're having your favorite sweet or whether you're watching a movie, whatever it is that you're doing, if you learn to do it in a sadhana way, then you are in a state of Atmaratihi. It cannot happen overnight. Now, the moment you hear this, don't go about saying, I'm now in a state of Atmaratihi. Some people use this to justify their indulgences in life. One person who was so addicted to alcohol, now he used to say, I am in a state of bliss, Atmaratihi. that bliss is different. So don't use these things to justify your indulgences. We are making a very factual analysis. Be very factual and true to yourself. Deep within you, you will know. That's why I gave you the 3 criteria: happiness, independence, and freedom. So, am I in that state? What is the test? The test is, if that object is taken away from you, are you getting into a state of restlessness? So, when that person was talking to me, he was telling me, sir, I'm in a state of bliss, so I just take some alcohol, no issue. So I told him, so you're saying you've reached that level where you're beyond all this, you're not influenced by that. He said, yes. Yeah, with or without it, I'm okay. So I said, okay. Now, anyway, with or without it, you're okay, right? For next 1 year, you'll be without it. He said, why? Why should I do that? He became very concerned when I suggested that. You only said, with or without it, I'm okay. So long you've been with it. Now be without it for a year, no? Anyway, it doesn't make any difference to you. Then slowly, he began to understand how his ego was playing with his mind. His ego was justifying his weakness by using these great truths. So don't get into that. So Ratihi becomes Atma Ratihi, and Atma Ratihi gets transformed into Atma Truptaha. Atma Truptihi. Truptihi is that Shakti, the satisfaction, the energy of satisfaction. So, in the previous sessions, I had given you the Puranic reference, no? Ratihi, Kamaha. So I told you, Kamaha becomes Ichha Shakti. Both mean desire only. Kama is also desire, Ichha is also desire. So in our scriptures, they said you should not have Kamaha, but you can have Ichha. Ichha is a desire by will. You are in control over the whole process. So when it was translated in English, don't have desires, now people ran away. That's the reason why youngsters are running away from the scriptures, because what is they're saying don't have desires. They are only saying don't have kamaha. So when you go deep within it and understand, it becomes very clear. Ichha is a beautiful Shakti. The power to desire something willfully, and then you can manifest it. You are in a state of happiness, independence and freedom, and then you use the Ichha Shakti to get whatever it is that you require. You can materialize anything you want, provided you do it this way. This is the sadhana way. So, when you are caught up with kamaha means uncontrolled desire, what does that lead to? That leads to atruptihi. Or if we are using the adjectival form, we can say atruptaha. Dissatisfaction. When you are using the Ichha Shakti, the power of desire by will within you, then that will give you triptaha, backed up by the Shakti triptihi, which means satisfaction. I am only completing the picture for you. I told you, Ratihi becomes triptihi. That is, Ratihi first turns inwards. The Ratihi means the tendency to seek pleasure outside. Now, the moment you turn your mind inward, it becomes Atma Ratihi and it gets converted into Triptihi. The other side, Kamaha, when converted into Ichha Shakti, Now that gives you again triptihi. So they are all interrelated, they go together. Whereas when you are caught up with the desire, now that will give you dissatisfaction only. That is why many successful people, they experience this, They keep on putting in effort to get more and more things in the world. And the more they get, the more dissatisfied and lonely they feel. That feeling of emptiness starts increasing. Why is that? Actually, if you read the interviews of very highly successful people, I'm not talking of the interviews where they talk about how they achieved success, not that. But here and there, when the interviewer has asked, how do you feel? When you're right on top, how do you feel? They've expressed their feelings. So one person has mentioned, I feel very lonely up here. One person has mentioned, I feel very insecure. Another person has used the word empty. I feel very empty, hollow. Hollow is the word which was used. The problem is you don't see all that. You're just caught up with the success part because you have that karma. And then you are just, running after all this. You just try to emulate others without any original thinking. So the yogis are not saying don't have desire, they are not saying don't achieve success, all that. You go through that whole process, but let the force of kamaha be converted into ichcha. With ichcha shakti, when you achieve success, you will not feel empty, you will not feel lonely, you will not feel insecure. Why? Because you are already in that state of security. You will feel totally satisfied at every step. Ultimately, that satisfaction is within you, and you will express that satisfaction in every little action of yours. Just imagine two ways of doing the same activities which you're doing today. One way is you're acting in order to become happy and satisfied. So today you will be in a restless state. The other is you are totally satisfied from within and your actions are expressions of that state of satisfaction and happiness. So at every step you exhibit that supreme state of Atma Triptaha. Even here I am talking with respect to actions, but Atma Tripta is whether you act or not, you are in that state of satisfaction. So in our Puranas, Ratihi is a goddess, but we can say a limited goddess. She was the most beautiful lady in all the three worlds, extremely attractive. Now, when it comes to Triptihi, Triptihi has been defined as the divine power, the divine Shakti, one of the aspects of divinity directly. When they invoke the Shakti, the in different forms. Different forms have been mentioned. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samsita. Like that, if you want to invoke Lakshmi. Now, similarly, Triptihi is also the aspect of the divine Shakti, and our yogis invoke that Shakti from within. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Tripti Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Invoking the Shakti of Tripti Shakti from within. So, how they have described Tripti Shakti in our Shastras is that she doesn't have a form, but she is that energy behind every goddess or around every goddess, behind, around, within, like a halo. Very interesting. So, if there is goddess Lakshmi, Triptihi is a part of goddess Lakshmi. If there is goddess Parvati, Triptihi is a part of goddess Parvati. It's a divine quality, the energy. That is why I was saying, when it comes to Ratihi, when he uses the word Atma Ratihi, it is with respect to the manifested form. Whereas when it comes to Triptihi, it is what is happening within you. So these mantras are not, to be chanted mechanically. No. With that bhavana, when a yogi does it, now it awakens that energy from within, that Shakti from within. The next Yoga Sankirtan series is going to be the Shakti series. When those materials are created and, step by step, I'll be teaching you the sadhana by which you can awaken all the Shaktis from within you. First, you do this sadhana, and then we will balance it with that also. See, this cannot be taught at one go like that, We have to carefully reveal it step by step. But you don't need to wait for all that. If you go deep into whatever is being given here, and if you're able to absorb the gist of the gist or the essence of what is being told to you, now you will be able to awaken the Shakti from within. So, Atma Triptaha, satisfied by the self. The person is satisfied by the self. Why? Because he has awakened the Tripti Shakti. From where? From within. See, when you go to a place of worship, you may go to a temple, you may have a puja room, an idol, all that thing. God is present everywhere. but the awakening happens from within. These are all ways by which you go within yourself, and the entire universe is there within you. This is what our Siddhas have said. You are living in the universe, that is your experience, but they say the universe is there within you. And by going within and attuning yourself, attuning your consciousness to that higher self, you experience the entire universe, the cosmos. So it's a powerful state, the transformation from Ratihi to Atmaratihi. Atmaratihi becomes Atma Truptihi. Kamaha becomes Ichha Shakti, and Ichha leads to Truptihi. If you can understand this first intellectually, and then you will have to get to the energy behind it. You need to absorb it, and you know, if you are able to practice this in your life, you will become a very powerful person. A person who has awakened the Trupti Shakti from within. Now that person starts influencing everyone around him or her in a positive way. Not that he needs to say anything, just that he will constantly be radiating the higher Shakti, higher energy. So, Trup means satisfaction. I'll give you one more dimension of Trupti, and also a very powerful sadhana tip also. The root word Trip also means gratification. What do we mean by gratification? Gratification of pleasure. Both satisfaction and gratification are similar words only. We are using two words to make you go deep into that principle. So whenever you're gratified with something, it means you have reached a state of completion. Satisfaction also means the same thing only. The gratification is an aspect of satisfaction only. So I'm just taking out that aspect and emphasizing on that, because that will give you a very powerful message, sadhana message for you. So today in life, you are always feeling incomplete. Now, sadhana will help you to complete all your experiences. Completing your experiences means reaching that state of completion, or purnatvam, as they call, the yogis called it, that state. Purnatvam means that infinite state, the fullness. Reaching that state of completion or completeness as you are experiencing the various experiences in your life. Today, the problem is you are not completing your experiences. You are not. See, when I say completing experiences, you will again take it as externally stopping. It's not externally stopping or not stopping. You are not reaching that, you are not experiencing the state of completeness within you when you are experiencing your life. See, this is a very subtle principle, very difficult to explain it in words, but that attempt is being made. So kindly cooperate, focus, and bring in your emotion, bring in your depth, and understand it. And if you don't understand it at one go, watch it any number of times and then reflect on it. Just meditate with it. Slowly, you will begin to truly understand what is being given here. So one is your external experiences, or the various experiences which you are going through in your life. The other is your internal state of completion, completeness. Today, the more you experience in life, the more incomplete you're feeling. When you learn to complete your experiences, completing your experiences means getting established in that state of completeness, becoming complete from within through the various experiences of life. When you achieve that, then you merge with the infinite. As long as you are in a state of incompleteness, you are disqualified from merging with the infinite. So when he uses this phrase, Atma Triptaha, the root is trip. Trip means gratification. Gratification means bringing about a completion, completing your experiences. So in the previous verses we saw, the principle of chakra, that you're caught up in the cycle because you're not achieving completion. The same pattern keeps repeating again and again. Have you observed that in your life? Today you get angry with your spouse. Then that anger swells up. Both of you fight. And then you patch up. For a while you don't talk to each other. Then you patch up. And then now you'll become so attached, lovey-dovey and all that, You may, usually when they immediately say, let us go somewhere abroad and, celebrate. When you're not even able to be happy here, going abroad, going to some place, some mountain, what will you do there? You'll go there also and fight only. I'm not saying don't go there, but don't think that is a solution. First learn to bring about that enjoyment here and now. And then the thick attachment and it will lead to a lot of expectations. Again, one of those expectations will be broken. You will get angry. That pattern, that cycle is repeating again and again. I am giving you one example with respect to your relationship with your spouse. Like this, you see, so many patterns are being repeated again and again. They are not getting completed. How can you become a master of chakra this wheel of life, it is by completing your experiences. And you cannot complete your experiences externally, but by attuning to that self within, you can reach that level of completion with respect to your experiences in life. The moment you do that, the nature of those experiences will change. Instead of that cycle repeating itself again and again, now you can create happiness for yourself and for the other person. You can create a fresh cycle, a fresh chakra. As the yogis called it as Ananda Chakra, means the wheel of happiness. So that is the sadhana message. Yogis are not saying run away from the world and all that. The world is meant for you to experience. Go through the various experiences of life. It is there to teach you, but your focus should be on achieving that completion or that state of completeness through these experiences. You are that infinite supreme being, and you have incarnated in this world to experience many things. Now in that process, you have forgotten who you are, and you're just simply running around here and there. Your mind is so restless, like a wild horse running helter-skelter. This itself is so amazing. When you are the infinite, how can you be in a state of restlessness like this? But that is the Maya, that is the illusion. So without any direction, without any purpose, you're just going through the various experiences of life and becoming more and more dissatisfied, more and more restless. And as in that particular birth, as the time for leaving the body approaches, which is what you're calling as death, now that increases the fear. You don't have a totality view. And then again you are born. The same process you go through. This is going on endlessly. But at some point, when you decide to be a sadhak, you say, enough is enough. I will experience all this, but I am not going to be eternally caught up in this cycle and be restless. Let me do my sadhana. Let me apply this wisdom. Let me go through the same experiences of life, but in a mature way, in a sadhana way. Now that will get you closer to yourself, and you will start completing your experiences. This is the subtler sadhana tip. How much you're able to practice it, that depends on the force of your uncontrolled desires and all that. Not everybody will be able to practice this sadhana of completing experiences straight away. But according to your level, to whatever percent you're able to get inspired by this and you're able to practice this, do it. Whenever you see a pattern repeating itself, a negative pattern repeating itself, understand that you have moved far away from the self. So intensify your sadhana, do the sadhana and release all those factors which are causing that incompletion. And you will once that release happens, you will get into a state of Atma Triptaha with respect to that cycle. And then you will be amazed that negative cycle will not repeat. And you will be in a position to create whatever you want. This power is something which you have within you. In the future empowerments, let a few Shakti materials, Yoga Sankirtan materials also come. The future, because that will be very useful, in the future empowerments, higher empowerments, I'll be giving you empowerments for all this. This is a very advanced level sadhana. Why I'm mentioning it here is because even if you can practice a little bit of this, it will make a big difference. And nobody is at zero. Whatever level you are in, to that extent you will be able to absorb and practice it if you're sincere. Okay, so today I have given you some very subtle points. I know many of you will send mails saying that, sir, we are not able to understand and this, that. That itself is a sign of wisdom only. If you say I've understood everything, either you become a Sthita Prajna or you're just simply fooling yourself. These are so subtle, slippery also. One moment you'll feel as if you've understood, but when you close your eyes and try to understand what is this completion, what are these experiences, again the confusion will come. I'm talking even in terms of grasping this itself, you may find it difficult. Doesn't matter. You keep putting in that effort. As we go further, more and more angles will be, this will be explained to you in different angles, and that will help you to understand. Because one person asked me, sir, this is what you meant, is it? Now, why didn't you say this earlier? Earlier also that was said in a different way. For that, for it to crystallize within you, that took time. I've been saying the same thing for many years now in different ways. Suddenly one day, some people have told me this. Sir, for 7 years I've been having this problem. Now only you're telling me what is the cause. For 7 years I've been telling you. Now only you have understood. That means that has crystallized, that wisdom has crystallized within you. Okay, so this is not something like where the other studies, external studies are there. You just ask a question, some answer is given. Oh, wonderful answer, thank you very much, and go. It's not like that. That's why some people ask, sir, now today artificial intelligence, AI is becoming. Now, what is the relevance of spirituality? AI has nothing to do with spirituality, because spirituality is internal. AI cannot touch your consciousness. So you can use AI and download all the scriptures, this, that, anything you do. But this inner spark of wisdom, that can be only awakened through the Guru Shakti. That is why we are having these sessions, the empowerments, the sadhana material, so much of help is being given. Okay. So before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I will take up one question. Hari Om Yogishri, thank you so much for such a deep and inspiring session. Points captured which have really inspired me. Okay, many points have been given. And then finally, the question. The query here is more clarity we acquire on knowledge and wisdom, we tend to be more judgmental, and how to be single pointed on our goals 24/7. You actually asked two questions. One is, with more clarity, knowledge, and wisdom, we tend to be more judgmental. What do we do about it? Number one. Number two, how to be single pointed in our goals 24/7. So, we will deal with this separately. First thing, when you get knowledge, you're saying there is a tendency to become judgmental. That happens when you merely focus on intellectual knowledge. Many people who claim that they are following Jnana Yoga, they only become very arrogant with more information because they are using only one instrument, which is intellect. But in the yogic path, in the true spiritual path, what our masters have said is, you don't use only the intellect. You simultaneously employ the other instrument which you have, which is emotion, devotion. So when you develop devotion also parallelly, you will never judge others based on this. It's a very good question which has been asked. This will be so useful to all the sadhaks. So please focus on this and understand this point. When you emphasize or when you use only one instrument, which is the intellect, now you will become judgmental and arrogant. If you use only the other instrument, which is devotion, you will become highly emotional, superstitious and all that. That is why in the Shastras they have said, you should use both these instruments together. As it is said, you should feel what you understand and you should understand what you feel. So when you acquire knowledge and wisdom in this way with devotion, instead of making you more judgmental, it will actually make you very humble. True knowledge will give you humility. True knowledge means, see, please understand one thing. When I say true knowledge, we immediately relate it only to the intellect. No. It is devotion which gives you depth to your understanding. The intellectual understanding is only a superficial understanding. Devotion gives you the depth. The 3D view is given. So if you find that you're becoming judgmental, it means you have used this instrument more, intellect. Then what should you do? Solution, simple. Focus on the devotional aspect also. How will you focus? Simple. See, because you know these things that you become judgmental, so just say, what is it that I know? When so many things are there to be known, instantly you will humble down. So when you use both these instruments together, which is the yogic approach, then that clarity will help you not to judge. You will not judge, but it will help you to assess others and do your duties better. It will help you to deal with others with more compassion and love. Okay? So, this is a very practical question which you have asked. And the other thing which you have asked is how to be single pointed on our goals. If your goal is to your level, it will inspire you and it will make you single pointed. It is not that you fix a goal and then try to be single pointed. The moment you fix a goal, that will make you single pointed. So today, if that is not happening, it means you have fixed a goal which is way beyond your level. For example, sir, my goal is self-realization or God realization. Some sadhaks say that, if you're truly at that level where you're able to directly keep self-realization as your goal, then 24/7 you'll start uh, you'll start thinking, or you'll be focused on the infinite. If that is not happening, then that goal is way beyond your level. So break down your goal. Take up that thing as your goal which inspires you most. It may be a small thing. I want to become calm. Calmness as your goal. Balance of mind. Discipline. It may be anything relative. Doesn't matter. But something which you can relate to directly, which inspires you. And the moment it inspires you, you don't need to put in any effort to be focused on it 24/7 and all that. It will automatically bring that focus. Is this clear? This is again a beautiful question. Two practical questions he has asked. Very useful for all the sadhaks. Okay. So now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper within myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my pranas, beyond my emotions and thoughts, lies my real self, my higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to complete all my experiences in life Atma Triptaha, satisfied by the self. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So we had a very deep session today. As I told you, these points, these principles are extremely subtle. We are using the yogic approach and deriving these principles that is being given to you in a way that you can relate to. That's the greatest blessing. Otherwise, normally speaking, the scriptures are saying one thing and there seems to be no connection with the practical living. So see all this how many ever times you want, and more importantly, reflect on the deep principles which are being given here. That will automatically lead to absorption. So in the next session, we will go further. We will also see the santushta. Okay. So thank you very much. Hari Om.